Welcome back to Raw Thoughts, me, myself, and AI. This is a podcast where me and ChatGPT break down the barriers that have set me back in relationships, my childhood, life. It's just an honest conversation with AI. So, this is episode 8. Single or just distracted? Being single doesn't exist anymore. You're either in a situationship, talking stage, DM thread, or juggling half connections that keep you from ever being alone. The truth is, most of us aren't single. We're just distracted, and distraction feels safer than silence. The stigma of being alone. Why is single seen as failure, not freedom? Judgment, failure, pressure, shame. Depends where you are in your life. The timeline that society gives you that you need to be in a relationship, you can't be alone, you can't be figuring things out, you should have it all figured out, is ridiculous. That pressure is untold in certain cultures as well, but society itself, if you're outside at 35 and you're single, there's something wrong with you. And that's crazy to think, because you could meet the love of your life at 40. You have technically, let's just say you live to 75, 35 years with that person. That's a long time. So you kind of don't let society's pressures pile onto you. You're not running at a different race. Those people that are in relationships get married could be divorced in 3 years' time. Think about that. Then they're outside at 37, 38, single. Now what? They're failures? Well, their relationship failed. So don't rush something that's not for you. Why do men fear solitude more than toxic relationships? Loneliness, reflection, you're running from something. But I think the loneliness is key. Men want to feel like men. And the best way to feel like that is via a woman. Whether or not that's the right woman for you, who knows? But try and get some solitude in at some periods in your life. Like, you need to be okay being alone. And that means fully alone. Not a week or 2 weeks. Have some serious time alone. Learn about yourself. You might not even like the same things you like, but because you've not had the time to be with you, you can't even express that. So you're just doing shit in situationships or conversations that are the old things that you think you are interested in, but you're not. So you need to kind of go and learn yourself. Why does society equate worth with being chosen? Validation, status, a milestone. Like, people want to feel wanted. And if you're the one that's wanted and chosen, then you kind of like, you're worthy. You have some status in this world. But sometimes that's you've got chosen out of circumstance. I know a lot of people, I'm not going to mention any names or give any clues, that are in relationships, but they're in a relationship with the wrong person, because a conversation will come up about their ex. And if they were the person they are today, their ex would want them even more, and they'd want them. That's crazy to think that the other person feels chosen, but they're thinking that way. And I don't think it's wrong, because I think the other people would have someone in mind that if they were at a certain standard, that's the person they'd want to be with. Everyone just wants to be with everyone else and not the people that they're with. The illusion of singlehood. Why does single mean 10 half connections instead of none? Talking stages, safety nets, half commitments. People get attached to people too quickly. Just because you've had a conversation with someone doesn't mean they're yours. Because you flirted doesn't mean they're yours. I find women and some men do this. They'll warn people off of people because they've had a conversation, or they've shared a couple DMs, or they've liked each other's posts. You caught someone in a good time. You had a conversation. You had a drink wherever you was at. You even went for a drink. Cool. But that person don't belong to you now. They're not yours. They're still part of they're yours only when they're yours, when it's clear as day and it's said. They're not yours up until then. So stop feeling like they are. The 10 and a half, well, the 10 half connections are just from insecure people or men that haven't been clear with their intentions. I might be guilty of that one at times. Why can't men sit with true aloneness? Because we avoid that we might be the problem. And when you start being alone and you start to learn more about yourself, as I said previously, you learn things about you that aren't necessarily good things, but you don't really want to work on them, so you have to work on them. But that's why some men are scared to be alone and they can't look in the mirror and see themselves and see who they truly are, because that would mean looking deeper than just surface level. Surface level, you're going to get what you're going to get. But if you can get deeper and understand what you're like and your traits and your flaws, you'll know what you want and what kind of person you will attract going forward. Why do we always need someone on standby? Is it loneliness or ego? Backup plan? Fear of being forgotten? Like, it's the standby thing is the standby thing is crazy because you only can be put on standby if the other person doesn't mind being on standby. But then when they realize they're on standby, they don't want to be on standby. Like, at some point, someone has to know that they're a backup option if they're not being treated like the main option. And if they're okay with it, they are okay with it while it's happening. Once they learn that that is happening, they're not okay with it. And that's normally women. And this is why women can cheat more successfully than men, because men will play their part. I was speaking to one of my friends, and he was like, "Have you seen the post where it says if a man who's got a relationship or seeing someone says to a woman, 'I'm free on Monday and Thursdays, call me then,' she will call him every day, other than as well as Monday and Thursday, but she'll call him every day. But if a woman who's seeing someone or whatever says to a man, 'I'm only free on Monday and Thursday,' that man's only calling on Monday and Thursday because he understands the position he's playing inside that relationship. Whereas the other way around, women want all of it and not happy with just a piece of it. Distraction culture. Why do men swipe more than they reflect? Dopamine, instant gratification, boredom. I'm not on dating apps, so I don't do that, but I understand the the process of it via Instagram, TikTok. I'll sit on there for, if I look at my time, let me screen. Instagram today, 1 hour 12, TikTok 27 minutes, Bank 15, my video editing app 48, and WhatsApp 1 hour 1. So I understand the screen time thing, and once you're on there, you're in it. But the swiping is just, it's an accessibility thing. So you're now in a market full of women that you find attractive that you don't actually have to talk to, but you're swiping to see if they're attracted to you, and then you feel better because the people you're attracted to are attracted to you. You always feel better when someone likes you. It doesn't make it, they just like the look of you. They don't know you. So it's a false high. When they get to know you and they like you still and they fuck with you, that's the dopamine. That's the real dopamine hit. That's what you should be looking for. Why do apps feel like validation machines, not connection tools? It's an ego boost. It's empty vessels like in other empty vessels, and it becomes an addiction. You're addicted to that. Oh, I got a like, or I got a message, I got this, because you're not. I come from the era of you go out to raves or whatnot, and you speak to a girl face to face, strike up a conversation from zero. Woo, real test of character. Remove these apps, get back to that. You will soon learn if you really got it like that. these apps, you can portray whatever you want to portray, and that gets you so far. Like if you're a half decent looking person, you will take up probably the top 25% of women on that app. Versus, let's say there's 15% of the men on there are half decent looking. Those other 85% of men are getting absolute crumbs after that 15% have pissed off the main bulk of women. And then you're looking at 85% of men that are now sour and bitter towards women, and then they become the problem. And then it's just a vicious cycle. So I think the apps aren't necessarily a good thing. Why do we chase novelty when it makes us emptier every time? It's a repeat cycle, the hunger of it. We're shallow creatures. Like, again, we all want to feel wanted. These apps allow us to feel wanted by making the chase simpler. It brings the chase to you. You don't have to go anywhere. I can be on the toilet speaking to a pretty person, female, and I'm there involved, but it's shallowness, because the only thing that drew me into you was your looks. Whereas I've been in places where looks are just like the first initial thing, but your vibe as well. You can't get someone's vibe from an app. What? Because they've got a little bio. I don't care about your bio. More time, I don't even read that stuff. I've been on dating apps previously. I don't read that stuff. I don't care. It's just based on how you look. And then the only thing you read, what I read, was what you were looking for. Because the filter of age and all of that stuff was already done. So it was just what your preference was and what you were looking for and how you looked. That's it. So I don't understand anyone that says they're on dating apps, they're not shallow. Because you are. You have to be. Damaged goods and dating markets. Why do men label women as damaged while hiding their scars behind the success of dating? I've answered this on another episode. Like, it's hypocrisy. You're projecting your own kind of shit onto them. It's insecure. Like, if you're damaged, and you're damaged people breed damaged people. That's as simple as that. If that woman is not damaged and you are, and you then mess with her, you will damage her in some way, shape, or form. If you're not seeking out the help that's required for whatever damaged you in the first place. Why does dating feel like shopping instead of connecting? Options. Dating apps and dating itself, just like going to Tesco. Bare aisles, just different things, different selections. Even if you went down one aisle, I was going to use the meats, but wrong analogy. So we're going to go down the bread aisle. Different breads everywhere. Breads from different countries, breads from the same country, different style. It's just too many options. And that's the same as dating. You have way too many options at the palm of your hand. And then what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to put all your eggs in this one basket, and that's what's going to make that's what's going to get you to that relationship. Yes and no. You should give that person a fair chance, but also no, because you also don't know what that person's doing with their side. They might not be putting all their eggs in your basket, but communication is key. I learned the hard way on that. Be open when you are outside, not dating multiple people, because I don't date like that. So seeing multiple people, talking to multiple people can be from 2 onwards. You need to just be open. You'll get a lot more back from it. Why do we fear women's sexual history but expect them to forgive our emotional baggage? Done this one as well. It's a double standard. It's fear, ego. Like I said, I don't really care about a woman's body count. I care more if I know anyone that they've been with. That's more my preference. I know a lot of men can't fathom a woman sleeping with more than 5 people. That's crazy. Like, that's crazy. I will sit here and say to you, the average woman has slept with over 30 people. You might not want to hear it, but it's going to happen. The times we live in is very different. A lot of people will deny it because it sounds crazy. A lot of women will deny it because it sounds crazy. But there's a lot of women out there that have a lot of bodies on them. And that's their business. It's got nothing to do with anyone other than themselves. But my thing is, I don't want to know anyone that has been with you. That's the only thing I can't accept. That's my preference. The addiction to almost love. Why do men settle for talking stages and situationships? Safety, avoidance, comfort zone. You know it's not going anywhere. So you can imagine you're a footballer and you're playing a friendly every week. There's no pressure because you know this match don't mean nothing in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, it's a risk because you can get injured, like things can go wrong, but it's not that deep to you. That's the same thing for a talking stage and situationships. You know at some point it's just going to run its course, it's going to be whatever. But inside that, you create a lot of problems for yourself and the other person. You just have to be a bit more open. Why is almost love safer than real love? Control, there's an escape route, fear of exposure. That escape route is key because the almost love is, like I said, you know that's not where you're heading towards. But the problem is you don't know that the other person isn't heading towards real love. So now you're toying with someone's emotions because you haven't been honest with your own. And that's then what creates the situationship, because it creates a situation that you didn't plan for. Why do we chase intimacy only to run from commitment? It's the thrill. Everyone loves the chase, man. I love the game. I love the hustle. That's how it goes. The intimacy part is the fun part. The commitment part is the hard part. The commitment part is the real you. The intimacy is surface, and that's kind of where it is because you'll sabotage. I know I've sabotaged commitment. Like I get to a certain stage in a relationship, and then it's just that something in my brain goes, and we're out, and then it's just pure sabotage mode from there. And that's something I've needed to work on, and I feel like I am. I'm not there yet, but yeah, that's it's definitely a thrill chasing thing. Choosing real singlehood. Why not use singlehood as healing, not hiding? Self-work, rebuilding, time alone. These are all things that you should have a period to yourself of actual celibacy type singlehood. And that means abstain from everything. You'll then, like I said, you'll learn a lot about you. Why is being single scarier than being with the wrong person? Why is being single scarier than being with just fear of being alone. People don't want to be alone, man. You turn on your phone, you seeing people together, they're doing fun stuff. You want someone. That's why people end up getting pets that they don't really want. They just wanted someone and something to be there. So being with the wrong person is bad because you both take away from each other, and then it makes it harder for the actual right person for you. But I get it, man. It's a cold world, and you just want someone to hug up to. Like it is what it is. Why not admit men often run to women to hide from themselves? Yeah, it's a distraction thing. We avoid a lot of stuff. We we have so much going on up here that the world has pushed on us that we're not doing that. We're not pushing it their way. We're just onboarding it, which we shouldn't. So we run to something that we need. They need us. It's like Batman and Joker. They both need each other to exist. Women allow us to do stupidness, but we allow ourselves to do the stupidness. So we need to admit that we need to stop running to women with that stuff. Why does learning to stand alone make relationships stronger later? Independence, growth, you build a foundation that you're not relying on each other. Like you can stand up for yourself, you can do you, And I think you should always have something for yourself. You shouldn't be holding hands all the time. You should be able to break apart, come back together, invite them into your world. They invite you into their world. You see them in a different light. It's like meeting a new person. You're like, oh, you keep that excitement going, but also you have some separateness to your lives. That's a key thing there in making your relationship stronger for later on down the line. Couple stats. Nearly 50% of adults had situationships in the past year. Casual connections are the new normal. I'd agree. 1 in 3 dating app users admit they're not looking for love, just validation or sex. Just say how it is. People who embrace intentional singlehood report higher self-esteem, lower anxiety than those in unstable relationships. Big facts, because they understand themselves. They hold themselves to a higher value, and they attract less fuckboys. They can sense them coming and all of that stuff. You know how people say is red flags, all of this stuff. But then people that say anti-red flags, they harbor and attract pure red flag men. Whereas the other women, they can sense it from the jump. Yeah, it's not for me. I'm out. Most men aren't single. They're just scattered across people who don't matter. Real singlehood isn't failure, it's training. Because if you can't stand alone, you'll never stand strong next to someone else. I like that episode. That was a good episode. I'll catch you on the next one. Got a lot to think about. Right, I need to get out.